back to power.
Yes, regular people getting back in government.
And that 80% of the race. This could give us. I gotta wait.
I keep chiming in like that for the show. Chiming in like that for the show.
She
already tagged me.
I'm gonna tag you. Are we on yet? Let me just tag. I'm gonna tag you. Don't share it. Don't share it. Don't share it. No, because then you'll have. No, I'm tagging you. Just tagging you. This way we can keep it to one video. All right. We tagged you. We tagged you. What's up, everybody? We're the Freestyle Freaks. It's Monday night, of course. I'm Ralphie Rotten. This is Billy the Kid.
Yeah, I'm Billy.
To the right of me, and we have a special guest tonight, ATALAYA. What's up? How's everything? How are you tonight? Good.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure to have you, Mr. Billy. How was your weekend?
My weekend was it was awesome. It was cool. It was chill. It was more laid back. You know, anything that I get a chance to rest is awesome. So I did enjoy a nice father-daughter dance. Yeah, at Gregory.
I seen the pictures.
Yeah. Hey, it looked like a little cabaret up in there. It was just like a bunch of just little professional people, man. Little minks on and sweaters and turtlenecks and stuff.
That is
awesome.
Listen. That is definitely amazing. Anytime you get to spend some time with your daughter in any capacity, you know, or your child, you know, it's amazing. I did. You used to remember when I went to my father-daughter dance, my first one ever. She put a red lipstick on, and you know, she thought. And I was like, listen. I was like, yo, what are you putting red lipstick on for? I said, seriously. I was like, why are you putting? I said, it's a father-daughter dance. What are you going for? You got a hot date over there? You gonna dump me for? She goes, no, she said, I'm a girl and I have to look pretty. And I was like, what? So, you know. Shout out to my daughter, you know, being always seeming to amaze me all the time. Ruben, can you fade out our background song a little?
Yeah, I was gonna ask
Just why I don't wanna get us to Facebook to kick us off today.
I was gonna ask you too, Billy and Ralph. How was your daddy-daughter dance?
Mine was pretty good. When this was maybe 2 years ago.
Oh, yours. Oh, I thought you were last night.
Mine was 2 years ago. Tomorrow I have I'm chaperoning a trip. It's gonna be really fun. I'm looking forward to that. So, Mr. Billy, other than your father-daughter dance, what did you get into? Did you perform? Did you just chill? Did you just lay back? You know what you do? What you get into?
No, that was pretty much it. That was it. I mean, that was my layback. You know what I'm saying? Like the father-daughter dance, that was my chill layback thing. You know, I did that with Bree. I took Byron out to Chuck E. Cheese because that's his glory. You know what I'm saying? He was in heaven with that. And, that was all the joy that I pretty much needed right there. You know, a lot of times, you know, I do stuff with them both. You know, whether it's like the park or McDonald's or something, but to do something unique with them on an individual basis, you know what I'm saying? You know, as far as Bree, that was marvelous. It was spectacular. You know, I enjoyed every minute of that, and watching, you know, a lot of the fathers, you know, definitely step up and participate. I got to talk to a lot of brothers that, you know, were happy to be at that in particular point in their life. You know, I talked to some of them like, you know, I couldn't.
It's a proud, like it's a real proud moment when you're
dudes that was locked
you know,
up,
like
just getting out of jail, happy, like
exactly,
they
like
did that, like instead of going to the block or brushing it off or doing something else, man. I actually,
and the most important thing is,
dude, that almost got me choked up. I'm gonna keep it real.
The most important thing is that they're gonna remember that for the rest of their lives, you know, and this is the time of their lives that they start to soak in everything, not just when they say they're kids, they soak up things. No, right now, with how life moves at a mile a minute right now. Like technology, we can, we live in a modern day Babel where everybody can talk to anybody from any country at any minute, any time.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? It's very scary.
You could understand their dialect once you hit auto translate.
Yeah. So it's important to me. I think it's important that we leave imprints that are everlasting and gonna create a thought process that this was my childhood, not something that listen, I even though I don't talk to my sister never had a father-daughter dance. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to repeat that. My father, I didn't have a father, obviously, but my father wasn't there. So in true reality, that's the legacy I want to leave, that I was always there.
Right. I respect.
So I respect that, man. Much love, and much love to the guys that were there.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Because they're the ones. They're the ones.
Hear some of these stories.
They're creating the impact. They're creating the impact now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If they don't know it, if let's say a child doesn't have their dad there for that one dance, and she's the girl in the corner, her path in life could take her to a different way. And imagine if the father is there, that moment is going to take her to a different path. I'm just saying this. I'm trying. It's crazy to get really deep.
Those memories are forever, man. Those memories are priceless.
It's real,
man. Yeah,
so shout out to those, guys. Shout out to all the guys that
I really did
always do the,
up,
father-daughter dance.
When I heard that one in particular story, I got choked up. Where he was like, I was locked up around this time last year, and I really wanted to make it. And now, he's making every single event. That it wasn't like he was one of them repeat cycle people. It was just like, look, man, there's a little setback.
Sometimes things happen.
It set me back. I really wanted to be there.
Yeah, exactly. Things happen in life. We're not perfect. If we're perfect, we'd be millionaires. Even the millionaires are not imperfect. They're imperfect.
Facts.
I mean, listen. We're none of us are perfect. This is the reason why we make mistakes. And God said, the way we learn is the more mistakes by making more mistakes.
Oh, yeah,
that's why he said when you make a mistake, you can, I guess confess your sins, and you have a clean slate. I'm not saying, listen, you got to go and commit sins and then do it over and over again. But that's what I'm saying is, know
the difference.
Exactly. It's the difference of going the right path.
Yeah, progressing, growing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Everything's a learning experience. Experience the best teacher.
My weekend was chill. I actually, real quick, I had my first Saturday off in about 4 months. I know.
Work crazy.
My job is very crazy. It's my presence. I see it on Facebook. My presence before this job was crazy, pretty cool. Now it's like a desert town, like a ghost town. I'm on Facebook, so I'm trying to get back into the Facebook thing. Again. It's when you're busy, things move. This Saturday, I took the day off. I shout out to my father-in-law.
Shout out.
It was his birthday on Friday, and we got him with a surprise party on Saturday, which he did not know. So and then. Listen, it was a great weekend. We chilled and watched TV with the wife and daughter on Sunday. It was just chill. It was just like you said. You do something with the family and then you chill.
Those are the best moments.
Then I got to see a couple of my friends. Went out to see a few DJ friends. Shout out to 21. Shout out to DJ Rennie. They were DJing at a spot. I'm not going to get the name, but they were DJing at the spot, and it was, my first time ever being in there, and it was chill. I was out with my friends. Shout out to Rachel. Shout out to Alt and my wife. We were out chilling, drinking.
Wait, Walt?
Yeah, I have,
Green out Walt? Walt Stevens?
No. Alt, my boy Alt.
What about Rachel? Other Rachel? Like Rachel? Our Rachel?
Cookie, yeah, Rachel.
Yeah. Hamilton Radio Rachel. She's pretty much Hamilton
Radio.
Yeah,
we you know, we went out drinking a little, you know, and
tune in person.
I don't always drink, and the shots just kept on coming. I'm like, well, why do these shots keep coming? Everywhere I was at, shots that kept coming. The party,
surprise,
and I was like, whoa. So you know,
get a little wasted.
Yeah, I didn't. I was still coherent. I was a little wasted but coherent, but I was not belligerent.
The surprise shots, like where they coming from, you know, like, hey, look, like he's about to creep up on me.
Well, I kept it. I was tipsy, but I kept it classy. You know, like
gotta keep your composure.
You know, I wasn't really, I didn't expect to drink almost 10 shots of Jack.
Of what?
Jack Daniels. But
my bad, man. I couldn't keep my composure on that one because I know how Jack get down.
Jack will get you. Jack will get you. But it was, it was from 2:00 in the afternoon till 2:00 in the morning. So I did it throughout, an average 1 shot an hour.
Pace.
And when you're not eating, you're eating a couple pieces of bread, and you need a couple more pieces of bread to balance out your system. Listen, I didn't get too sick, or I didn't get too, I wasn't drunk or anything. I didn't get up with a hangover. I was just down the next day. But, it was chill. It was chill. My weekend was perfect. But we're going to go right into this interview with ATALAYA.
Yeah, because it's like 9:30 and I'm past bedtime.
No, it's past Billy's bedtime. So ATALAYA, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us where you're from and what you do.
Okay, so I am a Trenton resident. Grew up in Trenton my entire life. I'm a mom of 3, a wife, a regular working citizen. I work for the state. I've done a lot of community initiatives throughout the years. I got started working in the community when my daughter started school, my first daughter. So we're talking about a good 8. She's 22, so we started about a good 18 years ago, or I started about a good 18 years ago. Like my intro states, I've worked for CASA, and in that role, CASA is court-appointed special advocate, and in that role, what I did was advocate for children, making sure, well, specifically, I was an educational advocate. So I would go into the schools and make sure that their needs were being met within the school. I'm trying to think what else. Like, I've done so much throughout the year. Right now, I'm trying to bring awareness to the Higbee. It's a school that was built in 1857 specifically for blacks in Trenton. It's on the National Register for Historic Places, but
is it still in fair condition, good condition, or is it?
On the outside, it looks to be in fair conditioning, but on the inside, I'm unsure. I personally have not toured the building. I know people who have, who said it needs work.
Because if it's on a historical registry, that
there are some avenues that can get. We can like there's tax incentives. Just bringing awareness to the building can bring money because people who are lovers of history and love to maintain historic buildings,
I believe in that strongly.
Pitch in. Yeah.
I'm a really, really big history buff. If you would not believe this, before I came here, I'm fully addicted to YouTube. Not that it's a bad thing, but you can get a lot of information from YouTube.
This is true.
So I occasionally I will watch videos of this or videos of that, but before I came here, I was watching videos of Trenton. The old Trenton and the new Trenton and the properties, the dilapidated properties. Just getting a sense of what's going on in Trenton. So I also would like to know how our community, what's the direction our community needs to go.
From my perspective, I think that we have to re-engage the community. There will be no moving forward in Trenton unless the community is pushing it forward. Oh, do I like right up to my mouth?
Don't mind him. You're fine. He's just doing producer stuff.
He makes it a point to get into the screen every show.
Yeah.
It's his watermark.
So what was I saying?
You want to fully engage.
Right. So you got to kind of like engage the community. Part of the process is you have to get out and you have to get these petitions signed. They look like this. You know, you go out and you deal with the residents and you let them know why you're running and these types of things, and they sign off on your petition. And what I learned in talking to the community is they feel exactly how I felt, which is why I got in the race to start with. People are tired of being sick and tired.
Absolutely. I definitely agree.
Yes.
But you have to do more than just be tired.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get engaged in the community. So that means everything from cleaning up the street, like sweeping your street, to going to the meetings at City Hall. We have to make the people that's sitting in those seats right now be the representatives that they said they were going to be when they were asking for our vote.
Facts.
Right. I truly 100% believe in that. I cannot agree with you more. I mean, definitely. You know, we should start. You know, some of these elected officials need to start held accountable.
Yeah. Accountability, you know, transparency is another big thing.
The Trenton Waterworks is a prime example. I mean, it's like it's been abandoned. You know, and the water every other week there's a threat or a advisory or an advisory like, oh, you can't use this much water. But if you use this much water, you can get sick. You know, or if you don't use, you know, like it's a never-ending story.
Well, I think from a resident's perspective, while the Trenton Waterworks work that out, it's comforting to know, or it's reassuring to know that the city knows what's going on, and in them knowing what's going on, they relay that message back to the residents. The biggest gripe that the residents had was that they were not informed.
Yeah, they were.
Like, we drink the water, we bathe in the water. This is something that affects our health. We need to know.
Absolutely.
And we need to know ASAP. And when the community comes to the City Hall meeting, and then the council people basically is like, well, you know, we didn't know. We didn't know. That's pretty much what everyone was saying. We didn't know. And that's unacceptable. If you're going to say you didn't know, tell us why. You know, you can't just say, well, it's basically saying it's someone else's fault as to why I didn't know. It's your job to know. Absolutely. We elected you to know.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
And if that means, I read that Mayor Jackson said that the city, we were informed via Facebook, via robocall, and it was one other way. Couldn't have been email. It was one other way that he said the residents were informed.
Did that just cover Trenton, or does that cover the whole entire?
I think Trenton.
Radius.
I think
I live in Hamilton.
Well, yeah, so I think Hamilton would have been responsible.
I still get Trenton Water.
Yeah.
I still pay a bill. It's actually their responsibility to let Trenton Waterworks is their responsibility to let me know as well. You know, so I mean, I've been having my water tested. I have pamphlets all the way from 2015 that states that the water is perfectly great to drink. It's very, very eerie, and it is scary to know that the city of Trenton, one of the city, a city, not a major city, but a city, a historical city in the United States, it's going through this.
It's not.
It's sad.
That surprising, really. That we're having these issues. We see this happening.
Yeah, and all over the country. But I do also agree with you when you pointed that the city has to re-engage with the
and so
citizens.
my points with the water, if So you're like basically saying we informed you. Oh well. Okay, so if it means that you now have to come and knock on doors or get with the civic associations, whoever, then that's what that means, because people were pretty upset about that, not being informed, as they should have been.
Absolutely agree. And where you're from the westward, right?
Yes, I live in the
westward. And what do you know the radius of that area is?
So it's approximately 20 to 21,000, give or take, people in the West Ward.
And how are you gonna engage in the community if you're elected? If you're elected, what are you gonna personally do?
So re-engage in the community means going out into the community. You can't just sit in the chair and say, come to me. You have to go to them. You have to represent their concerns. I think the people, period, whether it be city, state, national, we're tired of voicing our concerns and nothing's being done about it.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So one thing that I would like to see, I would do once elected is, since you can't be everywhere all the time, I would meet with the heads of each civic association by text, right? So let's say I text everybody, what's the ideas, what's going on? Let's meet at a local church where everyone can come out. You get the people in your groups to come out. Each civic association comes out and we discuss the issues and we bounce ideas off of each other. And then I take that back and I be your voice. I'm your representative. I'm going to fight and lobby for the issues that we want to see in West Trent. That's my part of re-engaging the community.
That's a great answer. Great answer. What do you think, mayors, there's a lot of, I know we're not talking about the mayor candidate, the candidates or anything, but if a mayor is elected, what could he do better to bring jobs, try to bring jobs, to engage the government, the new governor of New Jersey, to bring jobs, more franchises and more, bigger companies to bring jobs to Trenton, to fix Trenton's economy?
Trenton right now is heavily reliant upon the state.
Yes.
I think what the mayor will have to do going forward is rebuild those relationships with the state and the county. So
wow, that's definitely agreed. I think Christie abandoned Trenton on his little rat race to the presidency, and that's a very great answer. Thank you for that answer.
Real great answers, actually, because like a lot of the questions I was going to ask initially, she's just like already answered them.
I'm taking them from you.
I have tons of ideas is what I want to see happen in the community. Communication, for one, for me, is like up there.
But we were just, before we went on live, you were talking about you're just a regular girl from Trenton, that wants to change. The brass, what's going on in Trenton is a big movement. It's very inspiring. Listen, shout out to all the candidates that are, this race in Trenton this year is very, very, it's insane right now.
It is insane.
Because a lot of regular people, great regular people that actually care about the community, are running in this race,
and they should.
And I love it. It's inspiring to see people that really care are coming together to change Trenton.
That's right. But one thing I think should happen is it should be as part of community engagement is civic classes. People don't really understand the role of local government and how much it impacts their real life.
Absolutely.
Like, we pay attention more to Washington, and we should pay attention to what's going on with Trump. But what impacts our life is the local government.
Yep.
And we need to get involved more, but people don't necessarily know how to do that. So we need to, I propose starting a civic class of some sort, from the baby all the way to the adult, from the 5-year-old to the senior citizen.
No, I agree.
Because they all can be used in some type of way to make the community better.
I agree 100%.
That's a real good idea.
You know, that's
I mean,
definitely
that's the first time.
Definitely.
That's the first time I heard it personally.
No, it's a great idea. And I totally agree with what you're saying, because look at the past presidential candidates. You know, none of them would fit. You know, whoever you got picked wasn't really, you know, what's going on in Washington. It's a laughable joke right now. So I do agree with what you're saying, that we need to start engaging our community to create civic classes, to create, you know, to show people how to become involved in government instead of letting blind people just.
But Trump,
control
in a
us.
way, was a good thing in terms of
He can show that anybody can win.
no, no, not that.
No, it's true. He showed that anybody can win.
In terms of people getting engaged and back into politics in the way that we haven't seen it since like the 60s.
He is. I mean,
look at the children now with the NRA.
He is trying. I do agree. That was different. That was a different approach on the school shooting, that he brought in people and, you know, just sat there and listened to them. That was.
No, people are re-engaging because they're mad. So but they're trying to take back their government.
But what he did, you know, after, you know, I think it was something like you said, is, you know, he's engaging the people more. You know, he may not be the greatest president.
No, I don't think that.
But no, I'm talking about. He's not. You know, he is not the great president. You heard it.
No, I mean, like,
but
people.
What he did with after the school shooting, and he brought them in.
Yeah, but do you see
That's it took all of that.
Yes.
To make that happen, and
but you remember back in the day we had different presidents, like, you know, different presidents that did different things.
These kids ain't gonna let that die out real fast. You understand me? These kids.
But that's what this is what democracy is all about. The people have to stand up. You have to get re-involved, because if you don't and you sit by and you don't say anything, or just you have this small group speaking on behalf of everybody, they tend to do what they want. But when they know and they see the people are not having it, then that's when things tend to get done. And that's it's not easy, but it's possible.
That's another reason why I think the civic classes were definitely a great idea, from the smallest child to the adult, to help people understand, like, who the Secretary of State actually is. Some people, like, you ask them, like, what's the Commander in Chief? They're like, I don't know, man. I'm just trying to. Like, like, they don't know what a lot of these things actually mean.
This is true.
You know, so like, when you get people, you know, taking some classes, like understanding all of that, and
well,
definitely understanding the roles inside government. Yeah,
I think that we have to get people to want to get engaged into the local government, because to me, I think that, you know, it's there.
The promotion of regular people, which is a movement right now. It's happening across all 50 states. Of regular people running for office shows other people that it's possible, because what you tend to see is people with money running, people with prestige running, and neither of those things has helped the regular people.
None at all. None at
the
all.
regular people have to now re-engage the community in a way that we haven't seen in years.
I feel like that's the biggest threat. Like you know, like our generations, and we make it a trending thing. We make government and all of that a trending thing.
It has
instead of just people with money. Like,
you can hashtag it, whatever works.
It's like the people with money. Like,
it has to change. You know, like I said, you know, I do agree with the civic classes, because, you know, the president of the United States supposedly doesn't have ambassadors in countries. You know, he has positions, but they're not filled. You know, he has no idea of how to run a political office.
Well, the same can be said about Trenton.
Absolutely. 100%. I was just going to touch base on that. You know, I heard that Trenton had a mayor, but I haven't seen him in a while. It's sad. It's sad because I'm from Trenton. I love Trenton. Trenton has so much historical significance.
You know, speaking of historical significance, it does. It has a lot. And we tend to hear about the Trent House and George Washington. But again,
barracks, you know.
The barracks. But again,
13 original colonies.
There's a lot of black history in Trenton that's not promoted. Where the Higbee is, that entire area is a historic district. It's time we promote that narrative as well.
I absolutely agree.
If we start promoting that narrative in a city where I think there's like 45,000 blacks, that will help build up pride too, which also leads to taking care of your community too. So all of these things have to go hand in hand.
You know, with some of the things that I follow you on Facebook about, I know that you love that historical stuff. Like you take trips. Like to Washington, to like the museums and stuff like that. Yeah, and I noticed that. Like I noticed that.
I respect that. It's important. Listen, it's important to know the history. You know, if we don't know our history, we can't move forward.
You're bound to repeat it.
Exactly. Absolutely. It's
you take them trips very seriously, and I see you out. I see you out with the family, and
I do. I think it's important that the kids see it as well.
Martin Luther King statue, and then like next, you know, like you're like about to.
I do it all.
Post, like,
well, you know why? You know why? Because remember how I was saying the path you're leaving a legacy. You know, they're gonna do that with their kids.
Well, that's my goal.
You know, and I respect that. As amazing that you go to museums and stuff like that.
But I want it for all the kids in Trenton. Maybe all the kids can't travel like my kids are traveling to see these different things. But you know what? We have historic sites here in Trenton that are in disrepair. Like we need to fix those things and promote those things so that the little black and brown and colorful people of Trenton can see these things. We have them here.
See the significance, man, inside the history, inside the culture, man. Because
it's more history than Trent.
They would just be oblivious to it. You know what I'm saying? And then like it'll go from them being oblivious to it to almost like a disregard. Like it don't affect me. You know, like it ain't a part of my history. Like it definitely does. Like generations through generations through generations. Like it definitely connected. Like you're all intertwined, which you know how we are all affected. You know today. You know what I'm saying? So
no, it's definitely
politics plays a great role in that. You know, like to try to undo a lot of the, you know what I'm saying, mental, financial shackles.
They hold the keys to the revitalization of historical buildings, the neighborhoods, the community. They hold the key to everything. You know, it's that's why it's important.
It takes money.
You know,
we have to go in and get the budget together. Yeah. That's why I'm not a fan of candidates or anyone that's running promising all these things, because the reality is you need to go in. Whoever wins these seats should go in and reassess everything from the budget to the departments to everything.
Well,
do a complete audit of what's going on in the city.
Trenton was given some $600 million to revitalize Trenton. They were talking about creating a bridge or something. Could they just revitalize the city? You know, with that, I mean, I know it's only $600 million, but
again,
that goes a long way.
Again, a part of
the roads need work. You know, the parks.
Well, we missed that, Grant. You know, that's another thing. So the incoming administration needs to do a complete audit and start from scratch. And once they do that audit, they need to relay that information to the residents of Trenton and say, this is what we found. this is how we're going to move forward with the information that we found.
If I could finally, speak my piece here and not feel bad about it. Listen, y'all do that audit, and I'm a freestyler. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always like this fear of what you're gonna find, like some dirt that you're gonna find. Or this is that and the third, because it said that New Jersey is like one of the most corrupt places in America. Ruben, you could chime in at any time. This is like your level of expertise here as well.
Listen, the Italian mob was founded in Atlantic City, so yes.
Oh, it said that New Jersey is like one of the most corrupt places, like politically.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
And actually, I'll be honest with you. There was one time where this one cop had told me that New Jersey was mainly built, when they built New Jersey, it was mainly for the criminal, not for the innocent. A cop told me that. And also too, I'm not going to give any names out, but I know a person in like in secret intelligence, and he told me that most of the money that we spend out, he said that 80% of our budget goes to the military. They make it look like only 30 or 40% really goes to.
But do you know how you combat most of that?
Yeah.
Regular people have to take back their government.
Right.
You have to get we have to step up.
Clean people with clean numbers and stuff, man.
You physically have to drain the swamp yourself.
And like ATALAYA and Ruff was saying, I'm disagreeing on a lot of things what Trump was doing, but he does have a solid point, is that the people do need to take back the country.
Yeah, but not in the ways that I think he's saying.
Yeah, not in the way that he's saying.
Yeah, I said
but he waking up people in a different version.
Yeah. What I mean is that as people do need to wake up, we do need to take our country over, because
this is true.
Like you're saying, ATALAYA, is that just like in Trenton alone, if you're not involved in the government, it's almost like saying that, well, I've been having the meetings, but no one shows up, so we're just gonna do it anyway.
Well, part of the
people need to show up to, like you said, the meetings, and
they do. But people are also out here living life, and we're living life hard, because people are overworked, underpaid.
2 jobs to live.
Right. People are working 2 and 3 jobs, or 80, 90 hours. It's hard to meet every meeting.
It is. And there was a time, I remember, because I used to work at the college, so a lot of the politicians would come up and everything like that. There was times where there were a lot of businesses that wanted to come to Trenton, but I think I can say his name now since he's not here in the office. Palmer, when he was in office, believe it or not, Walmart and Best Buy wanted to come to Trenton, and he turned them away because he said that he didn't want the big box business to take over the small business in Trenton. And I'm thinking to myself, that would actually probably help, because a lot of people don't, they may not have everything in those big box stores as you can get from the local.
Business is key to redevelopment.
Yeah.
Another.
There was the other thing too. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. There was one time there was supposed to be a riverboat casino here, but they were saying that, well, if you put it in Trenton, it's just going to increase crime. But it's kind of like a catch-22 there, because crime has already increased without it.
Well, crime increased because there was no opportunity here.
Right.
There's no jobs.
Jobs. So basically, what I'm saying is all the opportunities that
there's no stability in the community.
that were here, that came to Trenton. It's like they were disavowed. They're like, no. Just like with the Mannix thing, with the entertainment thing, that was one of the most corrupt things I've seen. And I was even asked to be part of it, but because a certain county executive, that's not our county executive anymore, he was involved in it, and I knew straight up it was all corruption as soon as I found out he was involved in it. So it's like opportunities do come to Trenton, but our city officials and you're not council yet, so I'll say, and council people, it's like every time opportunity comes to the city, it's like they block it with so much red tape that even...
Well, part of that is because the state is so heavily involved right now.
Yeah.
Once the city breaks ties, so to speak, with the state and is reliant on its own, it can move, become more self-sufficient, then it can move better.
Yeah, it can. And and Trenton should be back the way it was.
But a 2018 version, we hear, back the way it was a lot. It's not going to go back the way it was.
I know it's not going to go back the way it was. But if you hear what I'm saying, is that when somebody has a business, and I could say, is one of the reasons why we're out here, not in Trenton, is because if I say I'm in Trenton, on a business level, people kind of like shun you away. But if I say I'm in Robbinsville or Princeton, they're like, oh, welcome, come on through, we'll stop by and everything like that. Just the name is, well, based on what I'm saying is the way people relate Princeton and Robbinsville, or even say Ewing Township, Trenton should be represented the same way.
That's right.
Should be like, oh, okay, you got a business in Trenton. Oh, fantastic. We'd love to come to see you. We'll take a tour of the city, have dinner, whatever like that. It shouldn't be the opposite effect because it's our
part
capital.
of that, if I can.
Oh, sure, sorry.
Part of that is part of the re-engagement process, changing the narrative. Yeah. People like us live in Trenton.
Yeah,
we can change that narrative of, oh, you have a business in Trenton.
Right.
People tend to look at Trenton like it's so crime ridden, and it has its issues.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have any more issues, more or less than any other city that we travel to.
Exactly.
Philadelphia, I hear stuff happening every morning in Philadelphia, yet we still travel there. We still party there. We still go to dinner there. Like all of these things happen in Philadelphia.
1000%.
The same thing can happen in Trenton. We just have to change the narrative.
You're right.
The community has to stop agreeing with the negative narrative. Exactly. We have to start bigging our own city up.
Exactly. And we do. And I tell people, when I'm traveling, yeah, I'm from Trenton. I don't have any shame, saying I'm from Trenton.
I'm proud I'm from Trenton.
And
yeah, me too.
It's a very historic thing. And basically that's what I mean, like the way it was. What I'm saying is like the narrative.
Right.
You got to bring back that narrative.
I agree.
That's what I mean by not going back to its old standards, but bring back the narrative, but show that it's up and coming.
On all type of levels. All levels.
Right.
Exactly. Look at Asbury Park. For
Yeah.
example, Asbury Park was ever since the riots when King was assassinated, hasn't been the same. What happened? A group of people. Okay, I know people. I don't agree with their lifestyle. Homosexuals, but they bought up a lot of the land, and now Asbury Park's got hotels, condominiums up to $300,000-$400,000.
But what
and
does that's what I'm saying. Regular people can do this.
Yeah,
it's just people taking their own hand. Taking government in their own hands and, like she's doing right now. Yeah. Running for
the power is literally in the people.
It's in their hands. It's their hands.
We see this happening with all the movements that's happening throughout the United States. Right. You see the people taking back their government. Yeah. Trenton we have to do the same thing for Trenton.
Exactly. And also would also being not only that, when other towns shouldn't be representing New Jersey, which is okay. But when you're supposed to be the leader of an entire state.
Are you talking about the governor?
No, I'm talking about the city itself, Trenton. And
you mean it being the state capital?
The capital. What's the capital?
So we should be leading by example, not following by example. We should be a leading by example.
This is true.
100%.
But we gotta start putting the work in. We have to start putting the work in, or it's not going to change. Everything's going to stay the same.
And definitely from all levels. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like from a government standpoint, like whether it's council seats or whatever, all the way to like regular average people like us, like this. Believe it or not, it's pretty much
work in the community,
revitalizing the city back in increments. Here we are, at Hamilton Radio, with Trenton, regular Trenton people to put a platform together to a person that's running for Westward Council.
Provide a voice.
That's why everything is intertwined and connected. Like the same negative light that we might have, or like the city is this, that, and the third. And I go down like my whole Facebook and show them like a whole bunch of events that will be booked from Monday through Sunday, which is comedy shows, which is like Anthony Walker parties, this, that, and the third, and it shows life inside of the city, and like I would actually have a lot of these people like at the comedy shows, like like come to my show, like promote your stuff, so that way our teams are working together, like your art all night, like all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like it's stuff that's doing great for Trenton, and then like we're meeting with other regular people, who are walking through there, and they're promoting themselves as well, and other regular people. Now you got a bigger voice and a bigger platform.
But I think that's part of what I'm saying when I say what I would like to do is meet with all the different civic associations so that I'm speaking specifically for West Trenton right now. meet with all the civic associations and residents, basically, so that these things, so many people don't even know. It's pockets of community within West Trenton.
Yes.
And if those pockets of community come together, we can change this thing.
Same way everybody come together, like to get like for like the hypest party like that's coming out, whatever.
The same way everybody gets together for art all night is the same.
Art all night. That crowd that comes out for art all night, whatever it is,
all of
that has to happen on a civic level.
Yes.
And if you can't make it to the meeting, but I can make it to the meeting, then I need to bring back that information to you. But in the city council seat, I need to make sure that this information is getting out to the West Trenton Trentonians.
And it's like when you put it like that, I see it on like this whole other level now. And like the lower level that like I see it on, it goes between, in my case, promoters. You know what I'm saying? Like we might like promoters. A lot of people don't know this, but like when Anthony, like Nina and them, like all them do shows, whatever. I didn't know that they all kind of meet like at a location to find out who's throwing what month, so they know not to throw, you know, whatever, you know, that in particular month.
Sense.
You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, their parties don't step on each other's toes, but they got the same pretty much network of people like that go to, you know, each other's functions and events. And I sat in on that, and I'm like, you know, that was something new to me. And now I see it like on a level that you're talking about, you know, as well, on more level, of a civic level, with these same people that put together like the Italian American festivals to the Heritage Days, all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like on that larger scale, like instead of party promoters, it's like, no, you're like these council, like
so each ward
promoters.
I will represent West Trenton, and I will represent them well, and I will we'll come together east, west, north, south, and we can put together a big parade, and I can say, or whatever it is, parade, party, whatever. I can say, well, listen, this is what West Trenton is wanting to see happen for this event. Or I can say, which is one of the issues, is we need some sidewalks. We need our roads.
You need some roads repaved.
Sidewalks, we need some entertainment in that underutilized park. We need some more family events out to the park. We need these things. And through initiatives, I can work with other council members and see how we can get that done.
Yeah, that's that's amazing. That's you know, it's.
I also want to say people need to be clear on what city council actually does. Right. So we have the issues of taxes, water, crime, education, economics, infrastructure. Transparency is a big one for me. But council only really works through checks and balances of the executive office. So what the mayor presents to the council, we can.
You're the mayor's council.
Check and balance that.
You help him make.
We also have investigative powers, which means the administration, we can hold administration accountable. They need to say why they're spending this money. Where's this money going? Why is it not working? What is working? Those type of things to help bring transparency to the community so that we can understand. Also, right now with Trump's tax reform, he's cut HUD. Trenton has a high poverty rate, and people rely on HUD for a lot of different things. So that is an issue as well. That's coming down the pike. We need to talk about that. We need to prepare our residents for what's getting ready to hit within the next year or two.
Yeah, you know, a lot of properties in Trenton need help and need revitalization. You know, removed. You know, fixing, you know.
So that's why there needs to be a complete audit of what's going on, how we're going to assess the things that's coming down with the tax reform, the things that's already not working. Trenton has 1,500 vacant properties that could potentially be money makers. They could
use the right way.
They could bring about $3 million back into the city.
A lot more than that. Listen, with 1,500 properties, you know, that's a lot of footage. You know, we're not just talking about homes. We're talking about, you know, the old Roebling complex, the stuff that's not being used. You know,
a lot of the buildings could be, that can turn into
condominiums. You know, bring people back. You know, businesses. You know, like, you know, the only way we can make money is if you put something there to make money.
But people, but see, the thing is, in making the money and bringing the businesses to Trenton, I think we need to look at as council mayor, as the mayor / council needs to look at the tax abatement policies, because those tend to be what the businesses rely on, and they get these long tax abatements that end up being a burden for the property owner. So that becomes an issue, because how much are you going to tax us and we don't get anything in return? So that's an issue. People are paying upwards of $5,000 plus in property taxes and can't even send their kid to the local school because the education system is broken here in Trenton.
Some of the businesses downtown, they're paying too much in taxes and kind of want to, move their business.
And the thing is, you know, it's crazy you mentioned downtown, because downtown is a very, very vital, hub. People don't know this, but that's the intersection where everybody meets.
Yeah.
You know, like downtown is commerce, government, police, firefighters. Downtown is downtown. Everybody goes to, everybody. That's where everybody meets.
Well, it could be, and it is from 9 to 5.
Exactly, yeah. But you got some restaurants there that are thriving. They're trying to revitalize, but more needs to be done. Downtown. Since you said downtown, could be, such. If you take care of the downtown first, everything around it.
Well, it could be, but on part of the community, we have to then go and support these businesses. Yes. They come, but then we don't support them. Like downtown, that's another narrative that has to change. It's literally a ghost town after like 6 o'clock. So why can't we have a South Street? What would we call it? A Trenton Street. I don't know what you would call it, but why can't we have something similar?
Exactly, I agree.
Especially in the summer.
Just make it feel like the whole city got a curfew.
We have a waterfront. Why don't we utilize that more?
In the summer, everybody goes where? The Shore, Philly, New York, Florida, AC, Seaside. Why can't they stay in the city? Keep that money in the city. That's important. That's and I agree with that. Like the waterfront, where the waterfront park, that's all government. They can do something with that. A lot of people go there.
Well, look at the beautiful park we have in West Trenton. That's they are revitalizing that right now.
As a kid,
that's a good thing.
As a teenager, I remember going to basketball games, and the community used to. I don't know if that still happens, but the community used to come in.
The basketball games were like the bomb.
Huge.
Yeah.
Everybody. Well, listen. Hey, listen.
Yeah.
I was at those basketball games.
Yeah, I was too. Okay? They were really good.
And it was like, and it was summer. It was be hot, and everybody be just chilling, watching these. And they had a basketball league.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we're going back in 1995. When I would go there, see some friends and everything. Yeah. I would go there.
Look, we have the same thing.
I'm skin color I am. I would go out there and watch those games, and Catawba Park would be like,
but that's something.
Live.
That's something. I was talking to the lady. Remember the lady across the street, Miss Elizabeth, the older lady right across the street from you guys.
Yeah. Okay.
She gave me so much history on how diverse Trenton used to be. We need to get that back. We need to bring in some diversity. We kind of have it here already, but again, everybody's in their own pockets of community.
There's the community,
and we have to engage.
We all have to connect.
We have to engage people that are, may need to see Mercer County Board of Social Services for whatever reason to the 7-figure. We all can work together and be of assistance to the community some kind of way, and we have to get this back. The community have to get back engaged.
We all share the same 7-mile radius.
And although the council can't really do much as far as education,
it's got to start with people. It's got to start with the people.
What we can promote are we can promote community initiatives where, like, the seniors, maybe we can train the seniors to be educational advocates, the ones that's retired, they're probably looking for something a little extra to do, not too much. They can go into the schools and be educational advocates for these kids.
I have a good idea. I'm copywriting this right now for any candidates. Also
I'm copywriting everything I just said.
Instead of just locking up, criminals. Whatever happened to community service in Trenton? Listen, Trenton needs some bad community service. Instead of just locking them up and putting them in the county that's probably overpopulated, okay? Keep them in Trenton. Make them clean up a couple streets. That's an idea. I mean,
I feel like especially the juvenile offenders.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I agree.
It gives them responsibility.
And not only that, you could utilize the teenagers as well as far as community cleanups and stuff like that. Yeah. But with the teenagers, it can be where if they came out and did 20, 30 hours, however they spread it out.
Take them out to dinner.
No. They can get credit
for school
doing community service. Yeah. So they can get credit where it helps them in school towards their community service, and we're getting helped in the community is instilling pride. It's a win-win all around.
Yes, I definitely. Before
I take them.
I just want to interject or actually add on to something.
Yeah.
One of the ideas I thought about, how we were saying like New York and Philly and everything, we should increase more theatrical stuff into the city.
No, there is.
Like Billy
there
does
is.
The comedy show.
There's a lot of the arts in Trenton is insane. It's insane. But the thing is, that's the only thing that's a lot of the arts music it thrives.
Yeah.
It's just the thing is we need more people to support it.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Trenton's really, really culturally artistic.
Oh no, it's very, very cultural.
I mean, insane. You ever see some of the paintings that some of these artists do?
And there should be a, I don't know, like how you go to, we have the arena and then we have the baseball field there.
Mm-hmm.
But when people go there, they don't commune in the city.
Right.
They go to the game and that's
they should create a major hub to where, if you're going to go to a game, you can spend more time. Instead of going, spend a day, create a hub.
Well, this is where the downtown area would come into play.
Exactly.
Right.
So you can have a jazz night, and that's another thing. We need to broaden that, so it's not just hip hop or whatever.
No, there's musical outlets. There's a lot of musical outlets.
We need variety. When you go to Philly, there's you have choice.
There's a nightclub.
There's
5 nightclubs on one street.
Well, one of the things here for comedy.
An idea I had was when you go to the sports arenas and after the show, they usually give you these little pamphlets what to do in the city. So people came to the arena. I think it's called Cure now, Cure Arena, and it's saying we can go to I don't know, Thomasina's or Champions for dinner.
Yeah.
After the game. So people when people come to those arenas, because they do a lot of advertising for these shows, and if there's some type of playbill or something where people can attach to, or like an app where people can say, okay, after the show we can go to Bills.
I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of using technology to get the word out.
Get the word out there. When they come in and they have the app or it's on their ticket stub, some way of form, so they know that because there's a lot of businesses even near the arena, but people again probably don't know that the businesses are open or everything's closed down.
Trenton Social.
Yeah, Trenton Social. Just some type of
Studio B.
Information that's saying, hey, okay, after they play, come to so and so
yeah, that works too.
Yeah, and it's for the games when they do things, any type of entertainment.
So I think we can start right here, right now, going forward for the summer. Just us four promoting things within the city and then showing up for them. So
just like with Billy when he has this comedy night. Billy
has his comedy night on a Tuesday.
Yeah,
Thursday now.
Thursday nights.
Yep, every last
Thursday at 11.
It is hard. It is hard.
Doors open at 7. Shows start at 8. It was on Tuesdays. It's on Thursday now, man. Trying to get it on that state worker pay. When is that state worker pay? I got to make sure I follow on that right day.
So you see, Billy, after
following the right one.
So Billy, so you see, like after a game, like even if the game's not over 8, 9 o'clock,
you have the comedy show,
say, like, after the game, even though you might miss some of the show, but come down and catch the rest of the show.
And look, even at the same time, like even if you don't even stay for the whole show, like even like in your case, like you're definitely free to come on in. You give out your card. You promote it then. Yeah. Give the word to me. I'm promoting it on stage. Right. So we got candidate running for West Ward Council. ATALAYA, Mickey, she's in the back. Everybody, shout out. This is that and the third. Make sure y'all go vote for all of that.
So only thing I'm proposing to you to when elected is even though you're in the West Ward, but you can still
I'm still representative of everyone
of the city,
right?
Which I believe too of a council person who represents the city, even though they're in another ward and other people, is also a potential candidate for mayor.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. I agree.
True.
I agree. The impact of a council person can take it all the way to mayor office.
They could, but I think we should focus on.
We trying to handle that first female mayor in Trenton. Is that what we doing? First female mayor in Trenton?
No, that's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing.
I definitely understand where.
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
but I think we should promote. Listen, people don't even fully understand what the city council does, so we have to promote that first and make sure that the residents understand what it is we can do and what we can't do.
I do agree. I do agree. We promote the council first because right now we don't have a mayor visibly, so just keeping it real, just calling it how I see it.
The council can help strengthen the seat for the mayor, who could actually get better relations with the governor.
But in the absence of the mayor, I have seen in recent weeks and months council people, step in. So yes, even though people think that
they're stepping in now because it's an election year, don't fall for it.
Well, I'm keeping it real. I have seen, councilmen step in. Not even, this was last year. This was the year before. I'm not gonna name names, but I've seen councilmen just step in, and do the right thing. So it is, council people, councilmen, councilwomen. Mm-hmm. They're very important positions.
They're influential for sure.
They're very influential. They can make things happen. So I do agree. We have to. I think that budget for West Trenton going forward, when I'm elected, I will make sure that budget reflects West Trentonians and what they want to see. Be represented.
Good news or bad news, it was transparent.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you have to be honest. Like you have to be.
I feel like that make the most difference because even if it didn't sit well with the people, you look, everything was out on the table. You seen where every
you can make an informed decision because you know what's going on.
Yeah. What is your message to the West Trenton residents? What is your message to them in 1-2 minutes? What's your message to them?
My message is the power is in the people. We can take back our government if we engage it. It's not impossible. I know it seems that way right now because the city is just in Blythe right now, but we can take it back, and it's going to take a collective effort in doing that. I don't think if the residents don't step up in a way that we need them to step up in the way that we haven't seen in 30 years, I don't think that we can regain. I don't think we'll be able to regain the city in the way that we would like it to see, the way we want to see it.
We got to get it jumping.
So my number one focus is getting the community back engaged into the politics, into government, into civics. I think that's priority number one.
I think the city is about to change. I think the city is going to be revitalized. I said it here first. It may not. Listen, my prediction.
Predictions like The Simpsons. When he says
in 10 years, in 10 years, the city's going to start to thrive. It's just who is going to help make that accelerate for the better of the community, for the better of the people, for the better of the economy, for the better of all Trentonians, and also the West.
He scares me when he says I predict something. He really does.
I'm keeping it real.
No.
I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it real. This city.
I agree.
The city is about to change.
I don't know about to change, but
no, I'm not gonna go into detail, but I'm very, very, very excited for the vision that I am seeing for the city. I can see, a bustling downtown, a bustling riverfront, a engaging community.
Do you see that happening with the current community?
Absolutely not. It has to start. But
this is why I say we need to re-engage the community, because if we don't, that downtown will be thriving without the current community, and that's a shame, because we're the one that put in the effort into this current community.
The right people
what I'm saying is
that get the people
pumped up. Hold on. But what I'm saying is, downtown Trenton, half of it is good and half of it's bad. You ever go down the street, all the people.
What city do you go into where there's just all good? It's all good. What city?
None. But
none at all.
None at all. Listen, I go to Philly. I love Philly, and I see the good and I see the bad. I see the good in people. I see the good and bad in people. I go into work. I see the good. I see the bad in people. Every day I see the good and bad in people. But I still believe that there could be good out of bad things.
Well, that's why we're here.
I'm not saying that Trenton's all bad. Like Ruben was saying. I'm just saying that the Trenton. How you were saying. Let me rephrase that. Ruben said that between Trenton and Princeton and Robbinsville, the big stigma.
Yeah.
I physically see Trenton revitalized. I see people buying
I see
up
what
land.
You're saying.
Trust me, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. If the regular people don't stand up, it's going to be a whole nother community in here revitalizing Trenton. 100%. That's the only way.
Listen, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
It's going to be the people.
I'm hearing background.
It's going to be the people, right? To get the right people in position. And the right people that's in position are going to motivate the people to make that happen.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be like
it's gonna be a ripple effect.
Yeah. Like when you throw something in the pond and the waves go one way and the other one go one way. But the community first gotta wake up, get the sluggishness off themselves, get the right people in place, man. So definitely people like ATALAYA, for West Ward, man. We put the
My
right
message
people in
is,
place,
listen,
man.
You want to make change, go out and get, go out and engage your community, go to your meetings, what I see in Trenton on social media is amazing. People are now engaging, with political issues regarding Trenton. But now, like you said, we got to actually be about that action. We got to go out there, be the change.
That's right.
And ATALAYA, I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Coming on and talking about what you're doing. I hope that I hope.
Thank you.
I hope that this encourages other candidates across the board in Trenton to come on. ATALAYA was the first, so of this race this year. Yep. And I applaud her for coming out here and just keeping it real, just talking, letting
kicked
us,
off 2018, right?
I definitely appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, real talk.
Shout outs. ATALAYA, what's your shout outs?
I do have a couple shout outs, I guess. I want to thank Barbara Horn and Gio. They've been working in the background of my campaign relentlessly, and without them, I just don't even know if this would be possible. So I want to thank them. I want to thank the people other people that's been helping as well. Shamika Thomas, Ty Gibson, Tammy Shaw, Asia Brown, Karen McBride. I hope I didn't forget anybody. And of course, my babies, Ajane, Marissa, and Brandon. And shout out to my husband.
Right.
Shout out, Billy. Shout
out to Hamilton Radio, man. Shout out to ATALAYA, man, for coming through, man, and definitely doing the damn thing. All my West Trenton people, man, definitely look up ATALAYA. Let her get that vote. You understand me, for West Ward Council. Shout out to Hamilton Radio. Shout out to Ralph, man, Ruben, everybody for tuning in. Zane, I see you. Sheba, I saw all of y'all. Rachel, everybody, you know who y'all are. Shout out to all of y'all.
Shout out to everybody who's been watching, tuning in. It's love you guys. All you guys, my cousins, my family, my peoples, my friends. They're always tuning in. Let's see. Of course, Hamilton Radio. It always gives us this platform. And can't forget my right hand man here, Billy the Kid. It's always, always keeping his chemistry going up and down. Bouncing off ideas. And ATALAYA for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
It's definitely a pleasure.
That was the kickoff right there for 2018.
It wasn't the politically correct one because we had fun tonight, but it was awesome. So thank you.
Listen.
That's what mattered. You was you. You was you. That's the 100% part.
But the thing is that I want the community to see you. I don't want them to see a candidate. I don't want them to see a political figure because everybody's afraid of political figures.
Right.
But I want them to see you.
Yeah, they got to know Mickey.
They got to get to know you. In order for them to trust you, they got to get to know you. And this
is true.
On a chill level, you came in and we just had a great conversation. Again, shout out to Hamilton Radio. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to my wife, my daughter. Everybody's part of my life. Happy birthday, my father-in-law.
Happy birthday, Pop.
Shout out to everybody here. ATALAYA, Billy the Kid, myself.
Shout out to everybody at Hamilton Radio. Set Ruben.
We're out. Peace.
Thank you guys. That was great.